Look at this video of the woman standing perfectly still while the world rushes by. Let's call her Valerie. She is a young professional who just missed out on a major career opportunity, and right now she blames her own lack of talent for the failure. Valerie is surrounded by people carrying similar burdens. Think of Tommy, who views his empty bank account as a strictly personal failure, or Charmaine, who treats a recent car accident as a sign of her own carelessness. We are conditioned to believe every setback is the direct result of our own choices. This creates a cycle where we carry the full weight of the world on our shoulders, assuming our limitations are entirely our own making. To break this cycle, we use a tool called the sociological imagination. It acts like a wide-angle lens for the human experience. As you can see here, we start with a single, isolated dot. But as we zoom out, we realize that dot is a node in a massive web. This vantage point reveals how our personal lives are woven into larger, invisible social structures. To understand Valerie's situation, we have to look past her individual actions. We need to apply 3 distinct analytical lenses to see the forces moving around her. Decoding these forces reveals that every private struggle is built on a foundation of larger factors that require specific study to understand. Our first lens is sociology. This discipline focuses on how humans interact as they attempt to organize their world into a functioning society. Consider Valerie's neighbor, Randy. Randy identifies as middle class because his income meets his needs. He sees this label as a simple fact of life. This pyramid shows middle class is a social construct. It's a category people created to group themselves. Notice how resources flow differently toward each level. These categories decide who has the easiest path to success, silently organizing our daily behavior. The sociological lens exposes these invisible boxes, showing us how society uses them to sort us into roles before we even realize it's happening. Our second lens is anthropology. This shifts our focus to the deep history of human culture and how our traditions have evolved over thousands of years. This historical photograph shows us a community shaped by long-standing customs. Anthropology allows us to explore the roots of these traditions, such as the animal sacrifice practices of the Igorot people in the Philippines. Look closely at the tattoos on this man's chest and arms. These physical marks of culture represent a community identity passed down across generations. These cultural forces also shape our modern habits. For example, a woman named Sharon might identify as a straight woman, but prefer wearing trousers over dresses. Her choice of clothing is an example of gender expression. Even our daily wardrobe choices are often following cultural scripts that have been written long before we were born. Anthropology shows that our most personal preferences, from our tattoos to our clothes, are gifts and habits inherited from the history of our specific culture. Our final lens is political science. This field examines the systems and institutions that govern us, looking at the structural rules that apply to everyone. This diagram shows a state. It requires a defined territory, a population, and a central governing structure. These glowing lines represent citizenship, the legal status providing specific rights and responsibilities. It is the formal contract between a person and their government. Political scientists also use normativism. Imagine the difference between drawing a map of a city and drafting an architectural plan for how that city should be rebuilt to better serve its people. It is the study of ideal political outcomes. This lens reveals the hard, legal boundaries of our world. These systems dictate what we are allowed to do and what protections we can expect from the state. Culture, society, and politics behave like a single, massive ecosystem where every part influences the others. As these interlocking gears turn, we see the cycle in action. Deeply rooted culture shapes our social norms. Those social norms drive the way we organize our politics, and those political institutions create the laws that ultimately protect or change our culture. When Valerie looks at her career through this web, her perspective shifts. She sees that her environment, her cultural upbringing, and the political climate all played a role in her current opportunities. She is no longer looking at a personal failure, but at a complex intersection of forces. This shift in perspective means you stop treating your environment as fixed facts and start seeing it as a series of questions. You begin to look for the logic behind the laws and traditions that surround you. This habit of questioning your own identity and point of view is a permanent change. It means that whether you're looking at a news story or your own career, you have a method for seeing the invisible forces that help shape who you are.